Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking closely at a really shocking aviation incident. It happened just moments after takeoff.
Yeah, quite alarming.
It was Sunday, July 13th, 2025, about 3:48 p.m. British summertime. A Beechcraft B200 Super King Air took off from London Southend Airport.
Operated by Zeusch Aviation, a Dutch charter company,
Yeah.
right, heading to Lelystad.
Exactly. But it didn't get far. What should have been just a routine departure, well, it turned catastrophic almost immediately.
Mhm.
We have this eyewitness account from John Johnson, and it's quite vivid. He said it took off, banked heavily to its left, and then he described it inverting and crashing just headfirst into the ground.
Wow, inverted. That's a critical detail.
And then he mentioned a big fireball. There's another witness, too, someone at a nearby golf club bar. They actually felt the heat.
Felt the heat from that distance.
Yeah, and saw this fiery explosion maybe nearly 100 feet up in the air. So our mission today is to kind of unpack this, go beyond the initial shock. We want to piece together how something like this happens so fast, look at the aftermath, the plane itself, the investigation, really give you a solid understanding of what we know so far.
And it's important, I think, to look beyond that initial understandable shock. These incidents, especially with high-performance aircraft like turboprops, they often have complex layers.
Layers.
It's rarely just one single thing. So this deep dive, it's about exploring those layers, encouraging you to think critically about the information that's out there.
Absolutely. Critical thinking is key. So, okay, thinking about the aftermath. An event like this, with eyewitnesses seeing a fireball, how quickly do emergency services actually get there?
Well, the response is designed to be incredibly fast. The alert went out just before 4 p.m. BST. You had Essex Police, the East of England Ambulance Service, Essex Fire and Rescue, all converging on the scene almost immediately.
A coordinated effort, then.
Absolutely coordinated. We're talking multiple fire engines, ambulances, specialist units like the Hazardous Area Response Team, paramedics, even the air ambulance was dispatched.
The Essex and Hertz Air Ambulance.
That's the one. It really shows how these emergency protocols are, tightly integrated with airport operations. They plan for these worst-case scenarios.
That speed is impressive, really. And it makes you wonder about the ripple effect. What happened at the airport itself? London Southend?
Oh, the impact was immediate. They halted all operations. Full stop.
Everything rounded.
Everything. That meant flights canceled, others diverted away from Southend. EasyJet's evening services were particularly affected. Passengers were offered rebooking or refunds, the usual procedure in these situations.
So a complete shutdown, it underscores the severity. And the aircraft involved, the King Air B200, it's a twin-engine turboprop, right?
Correct. About 12 meters long. These are propeller-driven planes, different from jets, often used for exactly this kind of thing, regional flights, charter services, sometimes medical flights too.
And they have their own handling characteristics, I imagine.
They do, yes. Distinct from jets, especially at lower speeds and altitudes, like during takeoff and initial climb. And flight tracking confirmed that departure time, 3:48 p.m., heading for Lelystad as planned.
Okay. Now, one thing that stood out in the early reports was the uncertainty about who was actually on board. The sources said it wasn't clear if it was just the pilot, maybe more crew, or possibly even a patient, given it was a charter flight. Local reports just mentioned casualties feared. Why is that information often so hard to confirm initially?
Well, in those first crucial minutes and hours, the absolute priority for emergency services on scene is rescue, containment, making the area safe. Confirming exact numbers, identities, that takes time and careful verification.
Right. First responders are focused on the immediate situation.
Exactly. Getting official confirmed numbers out too early can lead to misinformation. So authorities tend to be cautious until they're absolutely certain. The incident itself was officially classified as a serious incident.
Which means it meets certain criteria for investigation.
Yes, usually involving substantial damage to the aircraft, or, tragically, resulting in fatal or serious injuries. That classification triggers a full inquiry by the Air Accidents Investigation Branch, the AAB.
The main UK body for this.
Correct. And they'll be working alongside Essex Police. They'll be looking into, well, everything. Mechanical faults, potential pilot error, weather conditions, air traffic control, communications, all possible contributing factors.
It's a huge task. The sources also touched on something interesting, that while crashes like this are rare for the King Air B200, there have been incidents in the past involving sudden rolls or stalls.
Yes, and that history provides important context. It doesn't mean the cause is the same here, of course, but it highlights potential vulnerabilities or characteristics of the aircraft type, particularly during certain flight phases.
So why is a sudden bank, like the witness described, or a stall, so critical right after takeoff in these planes?
It comes down to the physics of flight in that specific phase. During initial climb, the aircraft is typically at a relatively low speed, but needs a high angle of attack. The wing is tilted up quite steeply relative to the airflow to generate lift.
Okay, so it's working hard to climb.
Exactly. And in that state, it's less stable, more susceptible to upsets. If something unexpected happens, like, say, a sudden power loss on one engine, creating asymmetric thrust.
So one propeller pulling harder than the other.
Precisely. That can cause a strong yaw, a sideways swing, and potentially induce a rapid roll. Or if the angle of attack gets too high, the wing can stall, lose lift, which can also lead to a roll, especially if one wing stalls before the other.
And at low altitude?
There's very little time or height to recover. Past incidents have sometimes highlighted how crucial the pilot's immediate and correct response is to an unexpected yaw or power issue. Even a small problem can escalate incredibly quickly in these high-performance turboprops.
That really puts the eyewitness account of it banking hard then inverting into perspective. Seconds matter.
Absolutely. Mere seconds. It explains how you can go from what looks like a normal takeoff to, well, a catastrophic crash.
Okay, so that leads to the inevitable question. What happens next? How does this investigation actually unfold? What should we be looking out for?
It's a very structured process.
Yeah.
The first key thing we usually see is the AAIB preliminary report.
How soon does that come out?
Typically within days or maybe weeks.
Yeah.
It's not the final answer, but it gives the basic facts established early on the flight path, maybe initial findings from flight recorders if recovered, the aircraft's maintenance status, weather, that sort of thing.
Just the initial data dump, essentially?
More or less, yes.
Yeah.
Then you'll likely get more information from the emergency services side, possibly via Essex Police. That might include confirmed details about those onboard passengers, crew, casualties, or survivors once notifications are complete and details verified.
Which takes time, as you said.
It does. And then, much further down the line, based on the full investigation, the AAIB might issue safety recommendations.
Aimed at preventing this happening again.
Exactly. These could be recommendations for pilot training, modifications to aircraft systems, changes to air traffic procedures, or updates to operational rules. It's all about learning lessons to improve safety.
It's a thorough process designed for safety improvement. This whole incident, it really does make you think, doesn't it?
It really does. And maybe it raises a question for you listening at home to consider. How much do we really rely on or perhaps take for granted all those unseen, intricate safety protocols?
Like air traffic control, emergency readiness.
Precisely. And the rapid response capability when an aircraft does go from a routine departure to a critical incident in, well, just a handful of seconds. It highlights this constant background effort, the continuous evolution of safety measures in aviation.
Powerful thought indeed. Thank you for taking this deep dive with us today. We really hope exploring these different facets helps you feel, truly well informed as this story continues to develop.